Hello, my name is Charlotte Purvis, and I am a customer service author, consultant, and speaker. I'd like to begin by sharing my thanks to Dallin and the team for the invitation to participate in this year's Visionaries Summit. As a customer service consultant, speaker, and coach, actually, I know that whether you are a visionary entrepreneur or employee, what we all have in common is our focus on the customer. I have developed 10 statements for our customer service delivery that I recommend all organizations who provide any level of customer service that they all consider these and other statements so that we stay focused on the customer. Now, the 10 statements might be some that you've already considered, or there might be some that you've not yet considered. So my recommendation is that you, based on your company, your organization, you use some of them or all of them. However, I do highly recommend that over this next year, that we rethink our focus on customer service, that we are aligning customer service with the current trends, as well as what's happening, what we read about in the headlines. We want to make sure that our customer service programs have adapted to meet the needs of people where they are now. So please rethink your focus on customer service. Customers are in different situations today. They have different expectations. There are a number of customer service surveys that you can refer to so that you make sure that you are adjusting your customer service to where people are now. I encourage you also to start thinking about the next steps. After you listen to this presentation and all of the other presentations during the summit, that you think about having a virtual roundtable with other leaders and other visionaries in your organization. How about if you stop and take a look at where you are now with your customer service delivery and where you'd like to be going forward? My vision for my clients, I thought I'd start there since we're talking about being visionaries, and I'm going to talk a bit about your vision going forward. So here's mine, that my clients will keep the customer at the heart of everything they do and say. Now, we've all heard about keeping the customer at the heart of everything we do. However, because I focus on customer communication, I decided to add that as well, keeping the customer at the heart of everything we do and say. Now, statement number one, what is it that you do and why do you do it? This is so important because for some organizations, they call it customer service. Other organizations will say customer care. Some organizations call it delighting the customer. They want to delight the customer in everything that they do. So it's important for you to really focus and say, you know, what is it that we do in customer service and why are we doing it? The question I would ask you is, when you develop statement number one, is the customer at the center of everything that you do? Are you making adjustments and are you rethinking your customer service based on feedback from your customers? That's the question I have for you. Is the customer at the center? Now, that brings me to an example for you. This company called POSSIP, P-O-S-S-I-P, which I like that name for that company because it's like a combination of positive and gossip, you get it? It's a parent engagement platform where they use feedback from parents to help build better schools. They just celebrated 5 years of tremendous success, growth, and influence. And they sent an email talking about their success over these 5 years. And I was delighted to see that in their discussion about their success, it was all about the customer, not just about what they did, but it was about the impact that the customers are having on the schools. So I share that example with you because for 5 years, they've kept the customer at the center of everything that they do and say. And now they are achieving success beyond, above and beyond what they thought would happen in these first 5 years. Secondly, what do you believe in? And of all of the list of values that you have, what is most important? Sometimes we make a list, we have that list of values, but my recommendation is that we prioritize them. What do you believe in? What do you value for your company or your organization? And what is most important? The bigger question for you as well is, once you have your list of values, then is there alignment between what you value and what the customers expect from you? So that's why it's so important to stay in touch with your customers, to keep up with their expectations. And what I can say to you is that over this last year and a half, customer expectations have changed. So the question is, does your list of values align with what your customers expect and want from you? How will each customer be greeted and treated? This is also important because what I have learned in my work in customer service is that sometimes what is said or done to the customer does not align with the values of the organization. And I like to remind leaders that that customer service professional, that frontline person, that person who answers your telephone, the person who replies to the emails, for example, that one person is speaking on behalf of you and all of the other leaders and everybody in that organization. And over the years, yes, I have heard some things said to customers that I am confident that the leaders would not want that said on their behalf. You would be surprised at some of the things I've heard, and maybe you wouldn't. Here's what I will say. That is important for you as a visionary, as a leader, to be clear about your expectations for how every single customer will be greeted and treated. The next statement answers this question. What do you want to be known for by your customers? What's interesting about that is that sometimes we're not clear about that. Either we have such a long list that it's not focused enough, or we just don't pay attention to it at all and we just leave it to chance. So here's what I recommend. How about, as a visionary, as a leader, how about you decide that? How you want to be known as it relates to customer service. And then that way you can be intentional about making that happen. And more importantly, you can measure it. You can find out if it's really working. If I were to have a customer service award show and your customers could vote for you, award would they give you? Wouldn't that be interesting to do that? To find out how they rank you compared to other companies. What's so outstanding about the service you provide? That would be a great, I'd really like to host a show like that and let the customer speak, sort of a People's Choice Awards. Let the customer say what award they would give you. Number 5, what is the commitment of the leaders with regard to the customers? Not only what is the commitment, but do the customers even know? Is it on your website? Is it on the welcome letter? Is it on your voicemail message? Your greeting, your voicemail greeting, I should say. What commitment are you making to them? And how do you communicate that to them? So here's something to think about. This commitment that we make to our customers. It's important for us, yes, to communicate the commitment. It's also important for us to demonstrate it. In everything that we say and do, let's make that a demonstration of our commitment to our customers. Number 6, what is your story that reflects your vision, your values, and your viewpoints? You know, we've heard a lot about the importance of storytelling in business. And I say, please share your story. This is the way you can inspire, you can connect, and you can explain your passion, for example. And let's use the example from POSSIP. So on the POSSIP website is the story from the POSSIP president, Shani. And Shani tells a story that begins with a conversation she had with her husband. Literally, it was from that, a conversation with her husband, who's a leader in education. From that conversation, now we have POSSIP, and now we have she has 5 years of tremendous growth. She's celebrating 5 years, everyone, that started with a conversation with her husband. Great story. Feel free to go to the POSSIP website to learn more about Shani and her team. I'm proud I'm proud of what they've done and proud to have been a part of the success of this organization. What is your tagline or catchy phrase that people will remember and relate to? And even if you've had one for a few years, it might be time to rethink it. It might be time to decide to keep it as it is. But every now and then, even though it's catchy and it's memorable, you still want to make sure that it's current. One of the taglines that I thought I would share with you is from Canva. I am a huge fan. Canva is an online graphic design platform. And actually, we used Canva for this presentation today. So the name of the company, as I mentioned, is Canva. And look at their tagline, empowering the world to design. So do I feel empowered when I'm using Canva? Yes, I do. Do people on my team feel empowered? Yes, they do. There's something about having all of the tools that they provide that just makes you feel like you can do it yourself. And then let's look at the word world. Just received an email from Canva as well, talking about just how many users are now subscribing to Canva, how they have users all over the world. And they were proud to share that a lot of nonprofits are using Canva as well. And they have a special plan for nonprofits. Many of the nonprofits absolutely pay nothing to use Canva. So look at those words. You're feeling empowered. Yes. Are they all over the world? Yes. And are they designing like crazy? Are there like literally millions of designs? Yes. So just those 5 words capture everything we need to know initially about Canva. It's important to have something like that that's catchy, that's memorable, and I'll also add that is meaningful. I also thought you'd enjoy seeing another example from POSIP. They are telling parents to share their voice and build stronger schools. Look at that. Just how many words? 6 words. And that says it all. Parents, share your voice. Your voice and your viewpoints are important. And when you do that, there is an outcome. You're helping to build stronger schools. Great tagline from POSIP. What are the 5 to 10 quality issues you consider unacceptable and require immediate attention? It would be great in customer service, customer relations. It would be great if all of our experiences were top notch, if we excelled in every situation. But we know in the real world that there are going to be challenges and there are going to be some opportunities that we miss to provide excellent customer service. It's important for you as a leader, as a visionary, to know what those top 5 to 10 quality issues are that you see over and over, and they require your immediate attention. Think of a recent quality issue. And my question for you is, does it represent a trend? One of the things I've noticed is sometimes I'll work with an organization and there will be a quality issue. And we've seen the same issue time after time. And that's part of my job, is to step in and say, according to my notes, we've seen this several times before. It's time for us to step in and do something about it. There is a trend here. This is not just a one-time situation. There's a trend. Let's address it. Let's be clear about what those top issues are. Let's make sure that we are tracking those trends and doing the intervention that's needed so that our customer service doesn't suffer. Number 9, what requires immediate HR attention, legal review, or further action? These are the really serious things that happen, and it may be only 1 or 2 in the whole year. However, those 1 or 2 critical issues like that, they can actually affect your service and your company's reputation overall. So please, who's tracking the trends? Let's make sure someone is on top of that all the time, tracking those trends. And in this case, we don't need to wait until we have 10 incidents. I say after 1 or 2 HR, legal review, serious issues, let's make sure we take care of those, even though this is a challenging area for leaders and for visionaries. This can make or break your reputation and the service you provide for your awesome customers. And number 10, what can new team members expect for onboarding, training, coaching, mentoring, and development? When people join your organization and they want to be there for a long time, they see this as a part of their overall career plan. So what can they expect? What is your vision for training next year? And what innovations are you considering, especially in light of the fact that many companies are now 100% remote, or at least partially remote? So are we looking at some innovations? Are we thinking about training from the point of view of people who are home versus in an office? How are we planning for continuing that important onboarding, training, mentoring, coaching? How are we going to do that now that many of those customer service professionals are remote. So those are the 10 statements. My vision for you as a visionary is that you will keep the customer at the heart of everything that you do and say. Once again, I'm Charlotte Purvis. Thank you, visionaries, and many good wishes for continued success.